And now, World Improv Network proudly presents Community Court.
When two parties cannot solve a dispute, no, community court is there to solve the problem. See? Job, bro, hanging up for my man over there, It's good to see you, Judge, I'm glad to be sitting here in the courtroom, like being the bailiff, so Rod.
Yeah, that's it's good to see, Bailiff Chad, that you've accepted my offer for this internship. I think it'll really write a course for you. Junior's excited for you, and I think everybody in the courthouse that I've talked to is you just bring a unique vibe, as you say. Well, you talk a lot about vibes.
John, it's like I'm so stoked, to be in the courtroom, because this is such a big opportunity, and the vibe, that you and Junior feed off every day. I used to see it as an audience member, watching every single case. So I'm so stoked.
Is that good? Does that mean your heart's hurting, or?
No, I don't have a stroke. No, my grandma died of a stroke, but I'm stoked,
You're stoked.
All
right. I take it that's, you say it like a positive thing. So am I stoked?
Y'all, you're stoked. You're lit.
Stoked?
You're lit. You
I'm
bring
lit.
Y'all, when you bring a positive presence, that means you're lit. You're full on.
Yeah, meant something different when I was in college. Anyway, all right. Well, all reminiscing aside, Junior, doesn't like it when I kind of hint at my past and then just brush it off. I'm trying to get to know my baby better, and I want my baby to know me better. But today's not about babies. It's about hands, and it's about discrimination. And I have here the president of the American Association for Left-Handed Citizens, Sharon Clearall. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, it's actually Clearall.
Clearall.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
yeah.
Is that right, Chad? Cool.
Chad, yeah, you say Rod,
Rod.
Rod. Chad, Rod,
Tar Rod.
Yeah, hey Rod,
Rod. Well, Clearall, Miss Clearall, you're here with a lawsuit against the federal government for discrimination against left-handed individuals, I imagine, such as yourself.
Why, yes, I am left-handed. And do you know how much discrimination we face on a daily basis? Don't even get me started on the whole scissor situation, because those are just meant for right-handed people. And how am I supposed to cut my edges with my right hand? I just can't.
And this is only the tip of the iceberg.
That's just what you can see on the outside. They're so much deeper. Did you know that about 20% of Americans, and I assume the world, but I can't speak for them, are left-handed, and we only get 1% of the credit?
I'm sorry. What? There was something about 20% and then a 1%?
Yes. It's a lot of statistics, and sometimes it's hard to keep them all straight in your head. But yeah, it's 20% of the United States is left-handed, but we only get 1% of the credit of just life.
Interesting. All right. So, okay. So yeah, there's, I feel like you're saying that, left-handed people don't get the, an equal amount of credit for their contributions to society.
For example, there is only one left-handers day, and we want 20 days. We want 20% of the 365 days. We haven't yet worked out that math, but we want our full 20%.
All right. Well, I think, and that brings us nicely to Pete Ranson, who is Assistant to Secretary of State at the White House. We've had some folks from there, and it's always interesting. Y'all are an interesting breed that come from the White House. Pete Ranson.
They're a discriminatory breed, actually.
Well, people say that all the time to me, Judge. They say, yo, Peter, why are you discriminating? And I ain't discriminating. I'm just Peter. And I don't mean nothing about that organization, Peter. Just Peter.
Yeah, no, I think your name is Peter.
Judge, like his name's Peter, like with an R, but he's saying it with like an A or something, It's not so lit, not
Sure.
rod.
Yeah, sure. No, it's like how Chad. It's like how you say Shaw.
Chaw,
Chaw.
Chaw, yaw.
Chaw.
Chaw, herot.
Chaw. Hair right?
Herot. Which means like, like, okay, Herot.
Why don't you just say okay?
Because it's herot.
Hey, right.
Chaw,
Sounds like you're saying hello to somebody whose name is right.
Well,
Wow, maybe that's another form of is this, I mean, have y'all looked at the American Association for Left-Handed Citizens how people say, "Oh, that answer is correct. You got it right." I feel like that must play into the
That's
discrimination.
just another example. And like he was talking about pita, like pita bread. There ain't no left-handed pita breads. I'll tell you that right now.
Wow, this runs real deep, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Well, what do you have to say for yourself, Puma? Why do left-handed people only get 1 day a year?
Well, Judge, because the right-handed people have always ruled the world. And it's one of them things that, why should we give away our power to the left-handed person, especially if they can't even pick up a pita bread?
Well, that's just not true. If there's anything, there has been several world leaders that have been left-handed. Hitler, bad example, but he was left-handed. And also President Obama, our current reigning president, is also left-handed.
Well,
Any other leaders, throughout history?
I'm sure there's a ton, but I can't think of them right now. But I know that Michael Phelps is also left and right-handed, so he's representing for us half the time.
Well, yeah, that's a good point that you're making about that Michael Phelps guy. But, I want to say a counteract to that is that Hitler is no longer in power. And Mr. Obama is about to be out of power, too. So see what happens when you're left-handed? You can't stay in power.
I gotta say, Mr. Ranson, sounds like there's a clear bias when you say, what in the history of the world?
Yeah.
Is that right? That the right-handed people have ruled?
Well, don't
you think like, again, I'm not a numbers guy, but statistically, like that would make sense if more people are right-handed, then there's a greater chance that someone in a position of leadership would be right-handed.
Well, that would just be statistics, right? But we're saying...
What do you mean, just statistics?
We're saying statistic, right? But greatness doesn't confine itself to statistics, right?
Mr. Ranson, what is your background exactly? I know you went to some prestigious schools.
I did. I went to Princeton for political science, and that's before I entered the State Department.
Wow.
But you know what? I always got all my answers right. I finished top of my class. I was right in line to follow my career path. I'm right next to Hillary Clinton to take the next step into the Secretary of Statehood. And I'm always right on the right side of the road.
Well, that's just another point of contention. Everywhere in the world, they drive on the left-hand side of the road, but not here in America. It's the right-hand side of the road.
That's right, because we are the greatest country in the world. Is that not right, Judge?
I think there are a lot of great countries that have different things going for them. And, as a judge, I need to be fair and distribute an unbiased eye. I think the United States got a lot going for it. Anyway, we're not here for
Judge, I want to say something, that's not like like I'm supposed to say nothing, but Australia has got some amazing waves, and they're like left breakers too, So, I don't know, maybe Peter's not all that right,
What is this last,
It's like saying, It's almost like
are you saying June?
It's like a mix between yogurt, and
I don't get it. Mr. Claral, what measures has your organization taken to, really spotlight the struggle?
Well, we have started a foundation, and we actually will include everybody, even right-handers, because we're all inclusive. But we started a foundation, and we hold an annual cutting out of dinosaurs rock and roll marathon every year.
Cutting out, like on paper?
paper dinosaurs.
And they put them
Hmm.
across the White House and the Pentagon, and it's only 5 people that are marching because there's only 5 left-handers in this rock and roll marathon, Judge.
There's 20% of us are left-handed, okay?
Well, I think I've heard enough. I'm just gonna rule that Mr. Ranson, as assistant to the Secretary of State, that you make not just one day but a couple weeks for left-handers. That's my ruling.
Stay tuned for Talking Points with Shabazz Davis. And make sure to give the Windcast your suggestions during the break on what topic Shabazz should swing a bat at. Next on Mile High Sports Radio.